provide broadband and IT support, including phone systems, to rural businesses across the Midlands, really specialising in small businesses and moving into the school and education market to provide a service that they've been unable to get from the main core providers, and trying to offer a personal service to them and deliver a service that they require, and one that they've been unable to get currently. The challenges are that they have been left behind. We've seen, based on where we are in the Midlands, that the inner cities have got a fantastic connection. The rural places where small businesses live, where building companies live, where schools are, that they really can't get the connection they need to keep up in 2016 with services such as video on demand, Skype, webcasting, and just silly services like online banking that they're just unable to do based on the fact that they just cannot get the connection that they need. So we've really tried to deliver a solution that enables them to stay where they are without moving into a city, and continue to do their business in a healthy, profitable fashion, hopefully. Well, we've seen speeds that range from 0.5 of a meg up to, and if they are lucky enough to have a fibre rollout of some sort, up to 80 meg. Now, if you take 0.5 of a meg, broadband in this country, as we know it, was really released in 2003 at 0.5 of a meg. So that means, as we sit here in 2016, that in 13 years we've had absolutely no improvement, innovation for those rural customers and those residents and businesses as well that are in rural areas. So they are stuck 13 years ago in a digital age that didn't exist back then, that does now, and they really do struggle with that level of connectivity when they just cannot do their business on a day-to-day basis. Well, I find that as the government moves into digitising their operation, we've seen some fantastic services delivered that when they work for communities and for residents, they are fantastic. But when you are stuck on a slow connection, a slow broadband speed, an intermittent connection, which a lot of rural areas have, it really does make that hard. It makes it hard if you can't tax your car, if you can't do your banking, if you can't submit your tax return, if you can't get online just to do those basic services because you're held back by the lack of digital investment in your area, and that really does have a big impact on their life and the way that they can run their own affairs. As a percentage, it's hard to tell because the government are quite coy on releasing figures. Now, there are 25 million homes with fibre across the UK. There are a number of homes with additional solutions, such as wireless solutions and fixed community projects, essentially. So putting a number on the exact amount is hard, but it is the rural areas that are really hit by being left behind, and that digital divide is only getting bigger with the investment going into the major population centres, and the rural areas are really being left to fend for themselves. And as you see, there are lots of community projects to try and bring the digital infrastructure up to scratch, and there are a lot of projects and focus groups to hold providers like BT to account and to ask them, when will we get when will we be part of the digital revolution? And that's really key, is for communities to get behind and to take ownership of their own infrastructure. And where there's a will, there's definitely a way, and there is a way with providing digital infrastructure. But it can sometimes be costly and it can be time consuming. But it is really worth its weight in gold when you are digitised, and that digital divide is much narrower than it is now.